Well, hey, good afternoon, my sweet Kit Kats. Happy Tuesday. Take Credit Tuesday to all of you. If you're seeing the red light button, you are live with me right here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. If it is missing, you are just catching me on the replay. I would very much appreciate it if you put hashtag replay in your comments so that I know you were here, and thank you so much for watching. But if you are available and live with me with that red light button, please say hello so I can welcome you in. Let's do something a little fun, a little bit different today. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm going to do my best to do what I can, and we'll see what happens. So come on in, say hello when you are able to. I would love to welcome you. If you are new, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you like what you see and you will come back and visit often. We're going to give it just a few minutes here, see who can pop on with me. I see a couple little eyes coming in. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you're all having a wonderful Take Credit Tuesday. It is sunny here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin today, right around 40 degrees, I would say. Hi, my beautiful Carly girl. How are you, hon? How are you feeling? Hi, sweet Phyllis. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it greatly. It is not so bad out today. Yesterday, guys, it was about 64 degrees here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Oh, my Lanta, what a teaser for spring, let me tell you. We don't have any snow on the ground here, but everything is just kind of blah and ready for green and all the things, right? Today we're back in the 40s, but that's still pretty good as well for this time of year. Hi, Valerie. How are you, dear? Nice to see you. Hi, Barbara Ann. Thank you for joining. Come on in, everybody. Put your feet up. Grab your favorite beverage. Let's do a little something fun today. A little something different for me also. So I actually watched a replay that Ellen J. Goods had. Do any of you watch her at all? Please do, my sweet Carly girl. Hi, sweet Denise. Nice to see you. Raining by you, Barbara Ann. Oh, it's better than the other alternative, right? Hi, Regine. Nice to have you. Thank you guys so much for popping in with me today. Thank you, Denise, for that sprinkle. I so greatly appreciate it. Hey, sweet Sherry, thank you as well. Hi, Sandy. Come on in, everybody. How is sweet Sandy? How's my beautiful and sweet Giselle doing today? How are you feeling? And are you going live today? And if so, what time, my darling? I don't want to miss you. So I had my sweet little Henley girl yesterday, guys. I feel like she's in that stage where she is just about to do all the things, let me tell you. You love new things? I hope you guys love this. You do watch her? Okay, good. Things are green here and a few trees have started budding. Oh, I love that, Phyllis. Hi, sweet Vicky. So nice to have you. Hi, Heidi. Welcome in from Havana, Florida. Nice to have you. Hey, my beautiful Robin. Hi, Roxanne, sweet thing. So Ellen J. Goods, that is Lynn. Still pretty down, no live. Oh, you poor thing. I'm sending you lots of squishy hugs, and I hope you feel better soon, dear. Oh, I hate that you're not feeling well. She had a live replay that I watched with Vasillas, and he did this burlap technique that I had been hearing about for quite some time. And so I watched it several times, actually. Sometimes he's just a little bit hard to understand, so I would go back and write down my notes. So I did just that. I wrote down, hopefully in a language that I can understand, what he did, and we're going to try to do it together. It snowed by you overnight, but just a dusting. It's 41, so it's gone. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. No, I mean, we can definitely get hit with some more yet. We're in Wisconsin, right? So who knows what we still could have before spring. Spring is actually going to stick around, right? But we'll take while we can, you know, what we can while we can. That's how I always look at it. And yesterday I had the windows open and it was beautiful. I was saying that little Henley girl, she is such a silly little thing, let me tell you, and such a sweetheart. Giving Grandma lovin's and hugs, and she makes fish lips, and then she wants me to make them too and kiss her head, so she'll push her head into my lips. It is the cutest little thing. She's babbling a lot. She says certain things, and I feel like she's really, really trying to say other things. At least it's gorgeous, 60 and sunny. Oh, I'm so glad you have a little window open. Get all that sickness out of there, right, Giselle? I'm so sorry that you're not feeling good, and anybody else who isn't quite up to par, I hope you feel better soon. So I did one of these burlap pieces off of a live and just tried to kind of do the steps. And I think I had showed it to you last week. This is what mine turned out to look like. It's very cool, except I didn't have quite all the products that he used. Hey, sweet Vicky, nice to see you. So there was just really kind of one or two that I was missing. Same in Washington. It snows sometimes in the summer. Isn't that crazy? I hate it. We've had snow sometimes on Mother's Day. Ugh. So I just happen to have this like big piece of burlap that I used to use years ago to wrap underneath one of my Christmas trees outside. So I didn't buy anything special. I just kind of lobbed a piece off of it to see what I could come up with. And I'll tell you what I'm using. And I kind of tell you in the notes if there's something else that he suggests that we can use. It didn't work exactly at the end like his did. Thank you, Vicky. But I still think it's pretty cool, and I learned a lot along the way, so I kind of want to share it with you guys too. We'll just try it and see what happens, right? The worst that can happen is that I still have something beautiful, and you could frame this, you could decoupage on this, you can add resin pieces to this like he was saying, and really kind of deck this out, put it in a frame, and have kind of a really cool, unique, one-of-a-kind piece of art, right? So what you need to have is the following, let me tell you. You need some primer paste gesso, and that is what I did not have. Hi, sweet Kath, nice to see you, lady. How are you? So I did go ahead and order this. I tried using, I believe I used a bonding primer on the one that I just held up, and I think that was too thick. So he made reference to this several times, so I wanted to get it. I got this at my link to TH Decor. I have included that link in the description of my live today. Otherwise, you can type in your comments, !THDECOR, and you will get the link back. Hi, my beautiful Donna Sue. I can't watch all of your live. That's okay, hon. I'm glad you popped on to say hi. I hope you're okay. So if you type that !TH Decor all together, no spaces, all lowercase, hey, sweet Brenda Daleen, you will get back that link to TH Decor. I went in the search engine in the upper right. I typed in primer paste, and this pops right up in case you are interested in getting it. I used to live in a town called Land of Four Seasons. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tehachapi? It's like 4 seasons in one day. Oh my gosh. Never knew how to dress your kids. I can imagine, Denise. Holy cow. Okay, so you need this. Like I said, I used bonding primer, and I think it was a little too thick compared to the consistency of this. And I'm going to show you this consistency. I've already done this step just so that this part was dry. And then you need some sort of a piece of burlap. I'm going to show you what I had and what I kind of cut off of. So let me show it to you. And you can cut off as big or as small of a piece as you want. So I just had this like raw edge piece. I think at one time it might have been a little table runner. Hi, sweet Nikki Hunter. How are you, darling? So nice to have you. And I mean, it's even kind of stained almost from the sun, if you want to call it. And I just cut a piece off of this. So don't spend a lot. Hey, sweet Stephanie, did you like the new mold? Really? Oh my God, girl, I want one of everything. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that, so I was only able to get one mold and a couple of the papers. But yes, if you haven't seen, go over to Decoupage Queen and watch the replay of the new release from yesterday. There's molds, stencils, papers. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God, Barbara Ann, that sounds so good. Happy birthday. How wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time and maybe have a little dessert. I have not been to have lobster in I can't tell you how long. Like I used to love the red lobster. So that's fantastic. I hope you have a great birthday, hon. So here's the piece I kind of lobbed off today. It's not a big deal if it's not perfectly cut straight or anything like that. I took this gesso and a silicone scraper. That he made very apparent that we need to use a silicone scraper tool of sorts. I will show you that I use my very old Pampered Chef scraper. Does anybody else have these? They are wonderful in your craft room, let me tell you. You would use these to clean off like your stoneware with Pampered Chef, and they work fantastic. So I took that gesso, I put it out on just a little paper plate like this, took my little palette knife or, you know, a popsicle stick, whatever, and get a bunch of it out. It's pretty creamy. I would say like sour cream consistency. Haven't had it in many years. I'm so jealous. I I know, Phyllis, right? I was looking, I'm like, oh my God, why? Tehachapi. Tehachapi? Is that better, Kath? Tehachapi. I think that's right. It's really fun to say. And then I picked it up with my little silicone scraper here, and what I did was push it through my my burlap, and I went in both directions. So you look at your gesso like a primer. You're priming your burlap. Hi, Belinda. Nice to have you, dear. Thank you guys so much for the likes and the hearts. I see those coming on through, and they help so much, so thank you very much for that. If you are comfortable and you don't mind sprinkling, I would appreciate that too. That just means sharing me over in any capacity. I appreciate it at, you know, if it's a group, if it's to your public page, that's fantastic too. Closer, okay. I have to look as I'm off of the live and try that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm really kind of was pushing it down both up and down, you know, vertically and horizontally to kind of get in all those fibers of the burlap. And underneath, this is kind of what it looks like. So some of it pushes through there. So I just put down some pieces of parchment paper. Vasillas put down paper towel, and it was kind of a mess. So if you do a paper towel, it's going to get kind of icky, and at some point you're going to want to peel that out from underneath. So that is your first step. Get your burlap out and put on your gesso with a silicone scraper, and make sure that you're putting it, you know, both directions to fill in those fibers. Okay. Somebody asked during that live, for those of you who don't know, Vasillas is from Greece, and he is a very wonderful creator, and he taught this technique on Ellen J. Good's page, and I did happen to catch that replay. I had to watch it several times just to make sure I understood what he was doing. So I'm sorry, I got to take back what I just said here. Before you apply your gesso, he sprays his burlap with a mister of water, just a couple times, and then he did his gesso. So that's what I did here. My apologies. And then he dried his with a heat tool. Yes, absolutely. I do think it would work, hon. I sure do. Just anything, you know, to kind of catch the mess, I would say. Even paper or whatever you have, I think is okay too. Hi, sweet Stephanie, darling. Nice to see you. So then on his live, he actually dried his burlap. I think he uses an embossing tool instead of a dryer. I used a dryer, and I think it's perfectly fine. But if you have an embossing heat tool, I think that, you know, would be fantastic. That's what he used. And then every paint that he used was a chalky paint from Pentart. So he had several different colors. I don't have all the same colors, but we're going to try it again with what I have. Hello, sweet Rose. Nice to see you. So it'll say right on there, Decor Paint Chalky. Again, it's available, all of the chalky paints that you'll see me use today on TH Decor. So again, I just go in there in the upper right search engine and I type in chalky, and you'll get all the colors. There's many beautiful ones out there. Just received my pre-op. They're going to do, I already do mono. Oh my goodness. Well, Rose, I think that it's going to be wonderful for you when it's all said and done, right? Monovision, is that what I do with my contacts? I feel like it is. I feel like it is. Well, I'm wishing you the best of luck, sweet lady. I hope everything goes wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to take my time here to try to make sure that I don't skip a step or tell you anything that we need to know in between. Looks like I maybe need to put my phone down just a little bit further. I am going to put some gloves on for this, just to try not to make such a mess on my hands. Hi, Coral. Nice to see you. Hi, Robbie. So good to see you, hon. All right, push it down just a little bit more there. All right, so the first color we're going to use, once your burlap has been misted with a little bit of water, and then you put your gesso primer paste over it with your silicone tool and dry that, or let it dry on its own. Then he comes in with he used a Decor chalky paint in, I think it was like a country green. We are going to use this one that is poison green. I don't think I've ever used this one before. I think this color is super pretty, and we are gonna paint our burlap, yeah? Paint with green, okay. So we're just gonna use a soft brush to put that down. Hopefully you can see okay. I am very, very drawn to these type of colors that I have here. And I have probably a half a dozen or so, I will say, of these chalky paints. So he basically just paints it. And I believe he used 3 different colors. One of them I'll show you as we get to that step. He kind of blends with a lighter color just to come up with a bit of a lighter color than what he initially used. So we'll talk about that when we get that far. But let's just see what we can't do. It's very out of my comfort level. I know, right, Denise? When I was looking at what I had, some of them I've used and others were still quite full of the colors that I have. And I'm like, why don't I use these? I'm not really sure. So maybe I need to start. They are super nice. They're very easy to use. They go on beautifully. So we're just going to paint this whole thing. And I'll tell you, the one that I showed you, I actually liked better than when I did kind of the final step. So again, I didn't have exactly what he used. And I don't know if that made a difference or not, but I figure either way it comes out, it's going to be art, right? And I should just look at it like that. So I have a beautiful chalky paint in burgundy that we're going to use today as well. I think that'll go really pretty with this color. Then I have a denim chalky. This one I've used quite a bit actually. And at some point we're going to mix a bit of this ivory chalk paint with one of the other colors. And then the one that I have here, which is, yeah, poison. To me, it's like a tealy green, we'll say. And then you need to have a couple of stencils chosen. So something on the sides that is kind of a repeating pattern. And for that, I have this one. Hi, Eva. Nice to see you. How are you doing, dear? So we're going to use this one on some of the side areas. And then he had kind of a, I'll call it like a medallion stencil. Hey, sweet Shauna. How are you, sweet lady? Guys, I went to the chiropractor this morning. I am super, super stiff and have to go back again on Friday to try and get this neck sorted out. So I apologize for moving a little bit like a robot. All right, so bear with me for the process here. He does use a couple of stencil brushes, so I have those out. Just a little bit more of a stiffer brush, we'll say. And I'll show you in 1 second what I have for our kind of medallion stencil to go in the middle. I did order, I have to look at the container here to remember the pronunciation of the product. Hi, Mary Jane, nice to see you. Thank you, sweet Sean, I appreciate you so much. If anybody here is new and you would like to tell us that you're new in the comments, we would surely love to welcome you. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So if you have a little bit of that gesso showing through, that's okay. Just try to give as much coverage as possible. Like I said, very different for me. And that's why I guess I was kind of challenged to try it. All right, that looks pretty good. So where is that stuff that I ordered? Where is it? Here it is, right in front of my face. Hi, beautiful Robin. I use this Bracant powder, or I ordered this. I've never used it before, but apparently you can add it to surfaces to kind of give it an aged look. It says apply it on a wet surface or mix it with decor glue to create surfaces imitating sand, plaster, or stone. I'm not sure if we can use it on here or not. I'm not familiar with this product at all, and I haven't had a chance to do any research on it, but it sure looked beautiful when I saw my Sweet Robin use it recently. You don't have to be sorry, Sweet Coral. So we are doing a burlap technique today that I saw Vasillas do on Ellen J. Good's page. Hi, Kathy. Thank you, Shanahan. And I did one of them already myself, which it turned out really cool. This is super, super different for me. Hi, Carol. But there is a part at the end that didn't seem to quite work. So I wanted to try it again and see what I could come up with. So this is just that was just a piece of burlap that I whacked off of a big hunk that I had that I used to put around under my Christmas tree. Hi, my beautiful Sheila, good to see you. We are drying this now. And like I said, he used an embossing heat tool, and I just have my regular heat tool here. I think the embossing heat tool must get a little bit hotter maybe, I'm not 100% sure. So this is the stencil we're going to use on the sides, and then in the middle, we're going to use this one from Decoupage Queen, the one where my hand is here. That's going to go down the middle, and we'll just see what we can come up with. Hey, sweet Kimberly, darling, I didn't see you come on. Thank you for being here. So what we did on this initially, I did off of the live, all I did was spray misted my burlap with a little bit of water. I think having a mister bottle like this is very advantageous versus just a regular squirt bottle. I wet down my burlap a little bit, and then I used a silicone scraper tool to put my primer paste gesso on it. And I kind of went in all directions to get that really down into all those fibers that are weaved together. And then I gave it a little bit of a dry and walked away and did my other stuff, went and ran my errands, did my appointment, came back. You want that nice and dry. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right, Shauna? Something so different and just something neat to try. And then as we get along further in the process, I'll tell you kind of some of the things that he suggested you could do with this. So we'll see. And then over that gesso, I painted this super pretty poison green chalky paint from Pentart. And now we're just giving that a dry. And so the next step, he used a wax, and it was like it looked like a transparent wax to me, but it was in kind of a can. And I didn't have anything like that, so I used a transparent wax from Pentart. And I don't know if that was where I went wrong in this whole process or not, so I'm not going to use that this time. Instead, we are going to use the one component crackle medium from Pentart, and it says one component in that little orange box there. So all of these products you can find on my link to TH Decor. So we dry this. Okay, so then at this point he added his wax, and like I said, it was very different than what I had. So I'm not sure if that was my issue or not. Or he said if you don't have that, you could use this one component crackle. So that's what we're going to try to do. That's what we're going to see if we can't do. But I think we want to make sure we get this nice and dry. Okay. So if you have this wax, and I really couldn't tell you exactly what kind it was, it just looked like a tin that he took it out of. And he put it on kind of here and there, quite a bit heavier on the corners of his piece. And he used a little bit of a harder bristled brush. So after this is dry, we're going to put that crackle medium kind of here and there. And then we have to go through several stages of drying. So we'll do our best, and we'll just chit chat a little bit together while we're doing all of that. And then you also are going to need at some point a little piece of like a sea sponge. So I just have a tiny little piece here. You don't need anything big. If you don't have that, you can use paper towels. You don't have to apologize, my sweet Sheila. I hate when they are so loose. Girl, me too. So most of them Greg picks up for me at Harbor Freight. I don't know if you have one of them near you. These I think I got on Amazon, hon. And I happen to have the box right here. They are heavy duty. And there is the brand, Titan Flex, I believe. Aw, sweet Kimberly, thank you for putting that in there. If you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it is in my link tree, !LINKTREE. These look like they're a size medium and they're perfect. And I love these. I love the thickness of them. Also, the blue ones that I had been using, I'm out of. You're welcome, sweetie. And those came from Harbor Freight, and I think those were a medium also. And I just threw the box away. I'm so sorry. Thank you, my beautiful Kimberly. There is the link to my YouTube. I appreciate it so much. If you are able to pop over there and subscribe, that would be great. I have been trying to upload some things here or there, videos and lives that could be beneficial in the future, like fine line crackle, things like that. One of you asked recently if I had a video on doing the resin cloches, so I put one of those out there. You got yours at Ace. Okay, perfect. I never think to go there and look for mine. I'll have to do that next. We have one in the next town over. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I know they spent a good amount of time drying, and I apologize for that, but I want to give us the best opportunity for this to work out, right? So you need your burlap, you need some brushes, some soft brushes and some stencil brushes. You need some primer paste gesso. You need a few different color chalky paints. Then, because I'm not sure what wax he used, we're gonna say that you need the 1 component crackle medium. And I can only speak to what I saw him use. So I'm sure there's probably other things you could use, just going off of what I saw. And then a couple different stencils. You do need some sort of, he used what he called a patina, but when I was watching Lynn, she used a gold wax paste, I believe. So that's what we're gonna use. And a little piece of sea sponge, something for a heat tool to dry, and that's about it, I believe. I think. All right, this is looking pretty good. So you just give a nice layer of that first color, whatever you choose. Because he used chalky paints from Pentart, I wanted to try using what I had to see if I could come out somewhat close to what he did. Hey, sweet Sheila. Hi, Lisa. How are you, hon? All right, so let me read my little notes here. We dried that, we did the green, we dry it. Okay, now we're gonna come in here and there with our crackle medium, the 1 component. And I personally like to give mine just a little bit of a mix. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. Ace is in Idaho too, but only 2 miles away. Closest Harbor Freight is 32 miles, right? So Harbor Freight is basically right up the street from us. But then our Ace is maybe 10, 12 minutes away, so not too bad. Right close to where my mom lives. And Mom, if you're on, I'm so sorry I didn't see you. Okay, so we're gonna take, I don't think we need any kind of a stiffer brush. I'm just gonna take one of my kind of yucky ones. Hi, Marianne, nice to see you. I believe this evening I will be able to post all of my items for the silent auction. So I'll send out a little telegram when I have them all posted. I'll have all the things you need to know right in the post. If you're interested in an item, you just click on the picture of that item. It's going to give you the starting bid and a description, like measurements and so on. You would just put in your bid there, no $signs, no decimal points. And then at the end of the auction, whoever is the highest bidder obviously is the winner, right? And we go from there. Okay, so we're gonna go here and there, he says, with this 1 component crackle medium. I'm actually kind of low on this, so something I'm gonna have to reorder too. And when he did the wax, he did quite a bit in the corners. So I'm gonna try to do similar. Just here and there throughout on the rest. Okay. So if you're interested in watching that replay, It's Ellen, E-L-L-E-N, here and there, yes. Ace is the place, right, Lisa? And it was fascinating to me to see something so different. And I was like, okay, I'm not comfortable at all with this, but let's do it anyway. Ellen J. Goods, Goods. I had to scroll a bit to find it. Robin is also amazing at all of these new things. And a little technique that he does with stencils, Robin has showed us a few times. So definitely pop over to her page as well and see what she does. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right. So now you can either wait for this portion to dry. Hi, sweet Jennifer. And or we can dry it ourselves, which is what we're going to do. And he does this dry, wait, 3 different times. Never, ever be sorry, my darling. You're never late. Okay, dry. And wax, dry, heat to it. So see, he added the wax a couple of different times and did, you know, some drying and added it again, did some drying and added it again. He did that 3 different times, actually. And I don't know if that's where I went wrong or not. So let's see here. Crackle medium, dry, 1 wax. And so when he used the wax, actually, and heated it, that wax would get like a little bit liquidy. Hi, Mary from rainy California. So happy to have you. So then he would wait a little bit. He would kind of air dry it, fluff it a little. Then he would come back and dry it again, you know, once it was dry. And he did that 3 different times. So I'm not sure if I need to be applying this crackle medium at 3 different times or not, or using this in its place and just doing the once. I don't really know. So on that part, we're kind of winging it, I feel. And I didn't put it on like super thick where it was pooling up, just kind of brushed it here and there. So I'm thinking, just to be safe, we'll do 1 more layer of that 1 component crackle. We'll dry it and then we'll move on and we'll see what happens. So I'm not going to use that transparent wax this time like I did on the last one. I don't know if that was the issue or not. We'll definitely find out, right? And nonetheless, either way it turns out, like I said, the other one I think is super pretty too. I'll show you and I'll tell you at the end when we do the final step what mine looked like before and after. Hi, Charlotte. How are you today, dear? Nice to have you join. Thank you so much. So be ready to do a little bit of drying. Nothing really should be seeping through the back anymore because that gesso that we used primed our piece and kind of filled in those, you know, those gaps as it's kind of crisscrossed the fibers. Hi, sweet Carrie. Oh, jury duty is such a bummer, right? With all these techniques, they can be so confusing, you know? But I feel like doing it with you guys and learning as we go is how we get to do it, right? Keep on practicing and find things that work and that don't work and go from there, right? Plus, it's super fun to just do something very different for me. I've never done anything like this before. Sweet Charlotte, we are using a couple new products to me. This one I've never used before, Primer Paste Gesso. And so we primed our burlap with this first after we spritzed on just a little mist of water all over that burlap. Then I used a silicone scraper to put this on the burlap in every direction to kind of fill in the weaves of the burlap, right? Hi, Deb. I'll have to watch the replay to see how you did it. And I did that first part with the gesso ahead of the live so that it would be nice and dry for us, because there is a lot of drying in between these layers. How are you, Deb? It's so good to see you. Thank you guys for joining me today. So we are just drying up this 1 component crackle. We are going to come back in and add just a little bit more. Can you use the crackle of medium over chalk paint? Can you use the 1 component, sweet Regine? Is that what you're asking me, hon? If that's what you're asking, yes, absolutely. The one component crackle medium, maybe that's what you're saying. I just want to make sure I understand before I give you a definitive answer. So to me, the one component crackle where I've used it in the past, we're going to use it on an upcoming project here. You would put down typically your base color, a darker color. Let's say we do black. And I've done it with chalk paints. I dry that black really, really well. Then I put that one component crackle medium all over it, just a nice layer. And I dry the crackle medium layer super great, nice and dry. Then you would put on typically your base layer over the top of that, which is normally your lighter color. Dry that, and the dark color that you put down would be what's peeking through the cracks. So you would see that black kind of peeking through. So it's usually your base color is darker. Yes, the crackle medium. The one component, my darling, absolutely. And that's what this one is that we're using. It says one component right in that little orange box there. So that's kind of how I look at it, is the crackle medium that you're kind of sandwiching between two colors. The base coat, or usually your darker coat, your crackle medium, then your lighter coat on top of that. Just make sure you dry really well between each layer. And honest to God, oftentimes when I do it, I don't even have to apply much heat to it, and it's already crackling when I put that top color on. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. Happy Tuesday to you. It's Take Credit Tuesday. What are you guys taking credit for today? I've taken some of his classes, but haven't been able to actually do any of the projects yet. He did a beautiful table. Oh, I would love to see that too. You're so welcome. Absolutely. I hope that helped you. I have done the opposite, though, I will tell you, with that crackle medium. So try it sometime just for fun. Put your light color down first. Dry that really well. Hi, sweet Doris. Thank you so much. Then put your crackle medium, dry that really well, and put your darker color on the top. So you're just kind of flip-flopping them. It still turns out, and it's really pretty. And I think that's how we might do the project that I have lined up here for us. What type of paint? So I used first this Decor chalky paint. It's called Poison Green. And all the paints that we're going to use today are Decor chalky paints from Pentart. He did kind of like a country vintage looking green first on his. And then after we get this dry, we are going to put down a beautiful coat of this burgundy chalky paint. So all of those from TH Decor, they have many, many colors available. Burgundy red, that one's called. I also have this one I have never used, and it is called Sand. I think it's just kind of a nice neutral color. And I have a couple other ones. I must have double ordered the ivory for some reason, thinking I would use that a lot. We are going to use that today a little bit. So we just want to make sure we get our crackle medium good and dry. All right, guys, what should we talk about today? We usually talk about dinner or what everybody is doing. How is Sweet Henley? Jennifer, you're so kind to always ask. She's doing fantastic. I will have her again tomorrow. And then in the summer months, guys, I'm going to pick her up 2 extra half days a month on Fridays. So that will be exciting and fun. I can't wait to be able to get outside with her and go on walks and all the things. Isn't that so pretty? I thought they would be a nice combo, Sweet Carrie. That this is like a teal blue and then that burgundy. So I kind of had to pick ones that maybe I wouldn't have necessarily picked, but this is what I had. So the other one we're going to use is this denim chalky paint. And then we're also going to use a bit of the ivory. And I would think you could use any chalk paint. I just so happen to have some of these, so I wanted to get as many of the things that he used as I could out. Hi, Julia. Nice to see you. And give us kind of the best opportunity for this to work. All right. So still wet down here. With these over there are feeling pretty good. On that page on Ellen J. Goods, she has, I believe after that live that she had a post with links to everything that she used. My daughter is pregnant. Oh, Robin, how sweet is that? I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. When is she due? Oh, doesn't that just warm your heart? Do you think you can use Mod Podge for single crackle? Sweet Barbara Ann, I would say yes. I don't know about something on here, but if you're just talking about a project that you're working on with Mod Podge, I would think so, yes. I got an injection into my back this morning. Oh, Sheila, hun, I've had so many of those, lady. That's not a good Take Credit Tuesday, but we'll give it to you anyway, you poor thing. I hope you're doing okay. Sweet Carrie, so Vasillas, he is a creator from Greece. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He used all Pentart chalky paints. I would think you could use your own chalk paints if you don't have those. Your Waverly, you know, something like that. Oh my God, that's so fun. I'm so excited for you. How wonderful. I remember that feeling well. So I'm a bonus grandma to a few other grandkids, but Henley is from my daughter. And it is the most wonderful blessing I've ever received in my life. I never knew it would be like that. Oh, sweet Julia, thank you so much. I did go to the chiropractor this morning. I've got to go back again a few more times. What's up? What are we doing today? It's so nice out. 69. How wonderful. We're trying to work through getting my own credit cards. Notified of this passing again. Close the credit card we had been using. Yes, I understand that. I worked in a bank and helped people with that for close to 25 years. So I completely understand. Still a little bit tacky here. I'm so very sorry about the dry time. And so I just watched that replay on her page, and I tried to do my best to understand his accent a little bit. You're feeling fine. I'm so glad. Everything else is doing a little bit better for you too, hopefully. I apologize, I lost my train of thought. Like, that doesn't happen, right? Oh, I watched him, you know, step by step. I had to go back several times, and I tried to make some notes on what he was doing and do exactly that as close as I could. Hi, Ellen. It's so good to see you. Being a grandma is the best thing ever. It is. What will Henley be calling you? I'm struggling. So I was good with grandma, but then a couple of times in the very beginning, I referred to myself and I messed it up and said Granna, Granna, and I really like it. So we're going with that. It really helps you, really. I cannot take a lot of massage. I want to, let me tell you, I want to, but my body just does not handle it well. We owe big time, but I got it done. Oh, Phyllis, I'm sending you a big prayer and always the hugs. All right, we're gonna go with this. I think we're good. I find that crackle medium stays pretty glossy looking. And Phyllis, I'm so proud of you. I know how hard that must be. I'm home to New Zealand very soon. Nikki, that's so wonderful. Coming home to live or visit? I bet you're excited. That's fantastic. I was just searching your photos. I love the Smash Can crafts. Are those out now? You know what? I love them too. I really don't know if they are. I know, right? Everybody's a little bit different on what they want to be called. Quite frankly, she can call me anything. Pretty darn close to anything. For having teenagers, right? Barbara Ann. Your oldest grandson is 26. Aw, happy birthday to him. Better than most at this stage of post-op. I'm so glad, sweet Sheila. I am so tired, Ellen. You weren't supposed to notice. Hi, Donna. They've been in Australia for 10 years. I'm super excited for you to have them. Spring is coming. Yeah, I did so many of those smash cans. Does anybody else still do those? Oh, I hate income tax season, isn't it? I feel worse after. Same. All right, now we're going to come in and put this beautiful burgundy red over this. I just have a note here that says apply with a soft brush. So we're going to do just that as soon as I find one. All right, these are all little chalky paints here from Pentart. So hopefully this all comes together in the end. Guys, I cannot wait. I have actually heard some birds chirping the last couple days, which is a sign of spring for me, and I love it so much. Bring back all the good things, right? Just all the things. Bring back the green leaves, the grass, the flowers, the sun, the warmth, the birds, the hummingbirds, all of that, right? That's what I am most looking forward to. And get rid of all the sickness, right? But got tired of them, but we'll probably pick it back up when spring rolls around. That's good, Carol. I should do a few. When I first started my page, oh my Lanta, I must have done, I don't know, 30 smash cans, because they were really easy to use for learning how to decoupage with napkins. You don't want spring, Nikki? Because it'll be so stinking hot? Or what bad comes with it for you, hon? Again, I don't think we have to be 100% perfect here. As you can see, this is exactly how I did the other one that I showed you. I just used a couple different colors. And this time I just decided, let's pull a few different ones out here and see what we can't come up with. So you could, I would think, I'm pretty sure that Lynn, when she was doing this along with Vasillas, she kept her colors very neutral because she wanted to decoupage a beautiful AB Studios rice paper on hers. And I did not recall seeing like a finished photo of hers or not. So you could definitely go with lighter, more neutral colors and then decoupage something on here. Either a small portion of it or, you know, a few areas I think would be kind of cool. All right, we're going to call that good. So this was burgundy red. It's almost 70 by you, Donna. That's beautiful. That's perfect. No, because it's winter for us. I got you. Hi, sweet Debbie. I'm sorry, Nikki. A smash can is using like an empty can from, say, a can of green beans or something like that, that you've cleaned out, you've taken the paper off of. You have to take the ends off on both sides. And a lot of the cans now come with that rounded bottom, and I don't think I have one of those can openers, but you definitely want both ends off. You smash one side of it so that it's tight on the bottom on one end, and then the top is open. And I decoupage on there, I paint on there, you can stencil, you add all the little embellishments. Then you can stuff it with fake florals and some of that like green floral foam. Put a little handle on it there. So pretty and fun, especially for the warm months. How's my sweet Debbie, darling? Are you going to be on tonight, hon? All right, so now we are drying this super well. Sorry about that. Some more drying. We can recap as we go along also. So I will do that for you in case you popped on a little bit later. I just have an old piece of burlap here, nothing special. I used to wrap this around one of my trees outside with lights on it, so it's been, you know, baked in the sun and all the things. I just cut a nice piece off of it. Doesn't have to be straight or anything like that. And you can make it as big or small as you want. Then use a little mister bottle with some water and just kind of gently mist your burlap. And you don't have to wait for it to dry. And then I applied my primer paste gesso with a silicone scraper. Yes, okay, good. I will be there, darling. And I got it in all the little, you know, the little weaves of the burlap. Hi, sweet Cheryl, how are you? Oh, thank you, Kimberly, darling. That's so fun. Message it to me. gosh, I had so many. And you can make some really pretty handles on them, putting beads on them, or, you know, things that you would use like if you do jewelry making or something, or wooden beads. So fun. Oh, you got it. That's so fun. All right, then after we put that gesso on and we dried it super, super, super well, we put on a layer of this poison green chalky paint. So all the paints I'm using are the chalky ones. Hi, Elizabeth. We dried that super, super well. And then we randomly came in here or there with a 1-component crackle medium from Pentart. We dried. We came back and added a little bit more of that here and there and dried again. And now I put on this burgundy red chalky paint. I think the important part is that it's chalky. He used all chalk paints. So we're gonna dry this really, really good. Let's see what our next step is. Okay. The next step is, he kind of toned down his red paint a little bit by using a white. I don't have white, but I have ivory. A chandelier of smash cans might be cute. Wouldn't that be? That's a great idea. And it's so reasonable to do them. I've even done them. My sweet Trina from Louisiana, who will be DJing at our wedding in October. So exciting. Isn't that awesome? I can't wait to meet my Trina. She sent me some of the huge, like, restaurant size ones. And doing those is super fun also, because they're so big and you can put so many fun things on them. I don't have the white that he used, but I have an ivory, so I think that can, you know, be just fine. So we're going to take a little of that burgundy red. We're going to add a little bit of the ivory just to give it a toned down lighter color. And then we're going to be using our sea sponge to come in and dab that kind of here or there. Okay. And we'll see what happens. I think the important thing is to dry between the layers really, really well. And like I said earlier, he used an embossing heat tool, and I think that might get quite a bit hotter, so his dried quite a bit faster. Your daughter's wedding is in October, Elizabeth? So my mom told me today, and she told me this before apparently, and I completely spaced on it. I can't believe that I have. But she said, I think your wedding day is going to be super special to you because it's the same day that my grandma and grandpa got married. And I had no idea when we picked the date, October 18th. And my granny, let me tell you, was my heart. So I feel so happy to know that. My neighbor is a school bus driver, so he got me 6 of the large ones. I am so sure that my sweet sister Rachel, she works at a school in the lunchroom. She could probably get me some of those for sure. And if you can't get your hands on any, Phyllis, I'd be happy to try to get a few for you, darling. What are we getting at with the craft, Sweet Debbie? Well, we're going to be stenciling on here shortly. And this is just a really cool technique that you can do on a piece of burlap to make yourself a gorgeous piece of art. My niece got married on your old anniversary date. I love that, Cheryl. Yes, Kimberly, it is. And the schnapps. She always hid the schnapps, too, in the dryer. Right? I think so, too, Sweet Debbie. I don't know how I would have forgot something like that, because my mom said, I told you that before. And I'm like, really? I'm so sorry. I didn't recall. And again, Mom, if you're on here, I'm so sorry that I didn't see you. I'm sure they have some you can get. You would sure bet, right? Otherwise, you don't want to have to buy yourself a big old can of stuff. All right, so he takes a bit of, he used a cardinal red, I believe. And I really don't think we need much. So we're going to start small. In need of some prayers. Oh, Joyce Ann, I'm so sorry, sweet lady. You have my sympathy, hon. I'm so sorry. Sending prayers your way. You remember those days? Isn't that funny? Always in the dryer. Like, I guess nobody would have thought to go there for it. So then I'm taking a little ivory to my burgundy red. And we're just going to tone this down quite a bit. That was the thing, you know, that was just the thing. I should have used that one. Let me grab another popsicle stick here. I want a little bit more ivory. And so I think you could definitely use, you know, colored chalk paints that you have. I kind of wanted to follow his colors just to kind of see that I can get it to work first. For Schoolcraft for the littles, that's such a good idea. I agree. My sweet Kimberly there, she's full of amazing ideas. I'm sure lots of you have so many good ones also. So did you guys see the tote bag that I finished? How did you like it? I was really not loving that tote bag, let me tell you, on that live. But it turned out okay. I ended up going in and adding, the color fabric paint I used was called Vanilla. So I added a couple of those through that stencil. I went back and added some of those flowers right on the rice paper. Hi, Suzanne, nice to have you. And I think that helped a lot. Just to kind of brighten up the whole thing, you know what I mean? And then I decided just to do that top piece of lace on it and that kind of bundle. And I thought that it was perfectly great. I struggled with whether or not I should put lace all the way around it. And I decided after looking at it and trying several different pieces and thicknesses and stuff that I liked it with just the one on the top. And I did put it all the way around. All right. We're going to just go with this. So you just want that color to be lighter than what you have down. Aw, Joyce Ann, you're so welcome. I'm just going to wipe my hands a little bit. So now we need to come in with this color, but we only want to put this one as well here or there. So he uses, thank you, Carrie. He used a little sea sponge. If you don't have a sea sponge, you can just use like a wadded up paper towel. We want to spray this with a little bit of water. So I'm just using my little, these are called continuous mist bottles. I believe our sweet Robin has those on her, in her link tree, in her Shopify. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, Shauna. I was like, what is going on? I don't know if I'm losing my mind on this or not. All right, so he just picks up a little bit of that color. I have way too much here. And he wet his little, I'm reading my notes here, begin to paint here and there. So he just kind of dabs it here and there. He did a lot of here and there. So that's what we're going to try to do. I can definitely put some of that paint in a little throwaway container. Maybe we do a little heavier on these corners. So it didn't look like his little sea sponge was sopping wet, just, you know, that it had some water on it. And don't fret if you don't have the little sea sponge. Like I said, just pull out a dry paper towel and kind of crunch it up, and you can use that. Okay, let's set that aside. And then you got to dry again. Well, thank you, Bonnie. Did I say hi to you? I'm so sorry if I did not. You loved it, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kimberly. I was happy with how it came together, and I didn't do anything on the backside. We all kind of agreed on that live to let the front go. I could have came in and done some, it's hanging right here on my door, some little rhinestones in that rice paper. That was Reba Rose rice paper that I use. So pretty for somebody getting married to either use on their wedding day or for a gift, you know, at like the bridal shower would be fun. Put all your things in there that you might forget, you know what I mean? He said here and there, not the whole thing. I know. I still have some spaces open, Joyce Ann. So I didn't do the rhinestones. I didn't do any stickles, anything like that. I decided to just kind of let her be because it was a very beautiful print. All right. Next, we are gonna do some stenciling. So this is when like the fun starts to go down here. Thank you, my beautiful Shauna. I so appreciate that. And if you are new, let us know so we can give you a big old welcome. You're a guest here for the first day and then your family if you come back. I love that. So this is nice and dry. Doesn't take too long to dry that one because we didn't put it on super heavy or anything. She does. I think she has over 2,000 rice papers out there, guys. I do have an affiliation with Reba Rose, so if you're interested in looking at any, that is in my link tree as well, ! LINKTREE. All right, so now I'm gonna turn it my way a little bit. He uses the blue. Okay, he used a blue-ish chalky paint for this step. So I happen to have this denim. So we're gonna do that same thing. Get another little paper plate here. These come in super handy, I gotta say. It is, Sweet Debbie. I went to the chiropractor today. I broke down. I couldn't stand it anymore. I have to go back a couple times. All right, so let me read here. He uses blue chalky through stencil here and there. All right, so he suggested having a stencil that had like a repetitive pattern. So I just grabbed this one out. I think this is probably from Temu, if I had to take a guess. Anything that kind of has something repetitive. Me personally, until I got a little bit better at this, wouldn't pick one that has super small areas. We're gonna have to be able to line this back up on the spot that we do the first round. And I feel like it's a lot easier if you have some bigger sections, okay? So he says, he uses more of a harder brush. He does the stencil here and there as well. So you don't have to fill this one in completely. So we're just gonna go right into this denim chalky paint. I'm gonna put some on my brush, but then I offload some, right? Just like we normally would do. And just kind of start putting a few of these down. You don't have to cover this whole area. I think the point is to just have portions of the stencil. But I do try to get a few of them fully covered so that it's a little bit easier. Hopefully when we have to go back, remember here and there, yes. When we have to go back and line that back up, that I at least have a couple to kind of guide me. Okay. So you don't have to fill in the whole stencil. We're going to be using a different one in the middle. So for that, he suggests more of like a medallion stencil, but I think you could maybe do the damask if you like that. Ooh, that's pretty. We're going to move it down just a bit. And then after I'm done with this part, I will hold it up for you guys to take a peek. So some of the key words to this project are here and there and dry well. Here and there. Okay, we're going to move up to this corner. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Vasillas. He is a creator in Greece. I think he has done a lot of the Pent Art products, and he showed this technique on Ellen J. Good's page, her business page. That would be Lynn. Just to do this beautiful, what do we want to call this? Burlap art. All right, so I only did here and there. We're going to do the same thing. And so he did this one kind of just in the corners, and he left that middle portion available for the medallion or something a little bit bigger. And he did kind of suggest that we use something on the sides that was a little bit of a, like a repetitive pattern. So once I saw it, I couldn't wait to try this just because it's, I don't know, it's just very fun and very different. All right, so I'm gonna keep my stencil facing up here. So I know that's how I used it when I need to line it back up. So now we have that stencil on there. That looks really pretty. I like it. And of course, we have to dry. This shouldn't take too long at all. Dry, okay, I'm flipping my notes here. Center. Okay. Next, we're going to do that center stencil, and I have a Decoupage Queen. I will tell you the number of this one as soon as I find it. Right there. It is 0017. Yes, yes, sweet Debbie. I don't know 100% of all what went down there. That's kind of pretty, right? And, you know, like the color, the different colors that you're choosing, hopefully if this turns out right, we're going to see some of that poison green coming through at the end. So we're going to use this one right here in the middle. And that one we want to be a little bit more perfect, where we're being careful to include every little part of it, you know? And that actually looks nice and dry. We're going to use the same color. All right, a little bit more of this same denim chalky blue. And we're getting to the point where I can tell you what my other one looked like before I did kind of the last things. I do too, Coral, thank you. I like the texture too, very fun. All right, so now I'm gonna be like quite deliberate here and fill these in beautifully. He said, you make it this one perfect. Ooh, that kills the neck, let me tell ya. So we'll try to be fast and get it done. Yes, Bonnie, absolutely. That's exactly it. Or he suggested that you could decoupage on here. So if you wanted to use some colors that are a little bit more neutral, I would think that would be the way to do it. Because if you're going to decoupage down rice paper, I don't know that you'd want to do it over a dark color, that it wouldn't, you know, really pop very well. But I also heard him say that you could add some molds on here, some resin molds, you know, glue those down and adhere them to add a little bit more interest. I guess you could do a whole lot of fun things. And then either, you know, cut it square and kind of, there's more to that story, right? I know. I mean, I'd like to say how I feel about that, but I think it's just better not to. So you could put this in a frame too. I think it would be beautiful in a wooden frame, me personally, that, you know, you could make look kind of aged and antique looking, you know. Or if you didn't have one of those or something that has some of that beautiful ornate detail, we could make our own. Add some molds onto it. The mold that I did decide to order from the Decoupage Queen new release was the border mold that Robin showed last night. I think I'm going to get the most use out of that because I'm always looking for those. So I think we could do beautiful frames with them if you're not able to find those ornate ones. And sometimes I don't find them either. So then we just judge them up ourselves, right? All right, hang tight, guys. We're almost to the end of this part. And then the next steps is when the magic starts to happen. So thanks for hanging in with me this long. And we are gonna need to reline this one up also. So you can obviously see, you know, the side that you used, but I lay it exactly as I had it on there. So I don't have to work too hard to reposition it. Hi, sweet Pamela. Nice to see you. And the one I did, you know, the final part that we're going to be able to do together, it didn't really work on here because I believe I used, I'm trying to think what color I used. I used a dark green underneath. I think that was my first layer. And at the end, the final kind of steps that we do is to reveal some of that color underneath. And that's the part that didn't work for me too well. But I still think this is super pretty and something that I myself never thought I would be able to do. So I still like it. I just have to figure out how to frame it, or, you know, kind of what I want to do with it. Just put some kind of like a wooden hanger on it on the top, and then have some jute or something so it can stay just like it is, you know. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm going to hold this one up here for you also. Okay, clean stencil. Now, in between, he cleaned his stencil. We're not going to do that. I did not do it either when I made the first one, and I had no problem getting my paint off. I used the Dawn Power Spray. It works fantastic. A little scrubby brush, and as long as you're kind of keeping the brush down on it and not lifting up and going up and down, thank you, Sheila, it should be perfectly fine, and mine come just gorgeously clean. Okay, so this looks good. All right, now we're going to come back to that side stencil. Okay, and we are going to use this gold wax paste that I have and another stencil brush. So let me see what I can find for a stencil brush here. Do I want this one? Let me see. I really need to get some decent stencil brushes. I have a couple here from Decoupage Queen. Let's try one of these too. All right, so what we want to do on a tote, that would be beautiful. I agree, Elizabeth. So we're going to put it back where we initially stenciled with it. So just lie it right back where you had it. Line it up. Excuse me. Okay. Then we're going to move it down and to the right just a little bit. Yes, it would, Sheila. I agree with you on that too. All right, so you have it lined up exactly where you had it. Then move down and a little to the right. Doesn't have to be a lot at all. We're going to come in with this wax. So I put some on my stencil brush, and I do a little offloading right in the lid. Well, thank you, Susan. And then we're going to go back over the stenciled areas completely with this gold. And even this gold on my stencil, no problem. It comes off beautifully with just hot soapy water and that power spray. Okay, so you're going back over the same place that you stenciled. It's just now off a little bit because we went down and to the right. And you're covering the whole thing. You guys remember when I tried to do this on a project and it failed miserably moving the stencil? I think it was because of the color choices I used. And then I did not go back in there and go over the whole stencil. I think I had just done parts of it. And that was my problem. So I tried it again after that particular live on just like a little scrap piece, and it worked out great. All right, so I'm just double checking, make sure I got all of those. This part that I'm seeing is the middle stencil. We're not going to do that one yet. I always like to peek a little bit. Okay, this is the fun part. Hi, April. So good to see you. All right, we're going to be doing this all over where we put this stencil. But by doing that, this is what happens. Oh, I am thrilled that that actually turned out. So you get a bit of like a shadowed look there, a 3D. I love it. Let's do it again. where we had the stencil down here. So now we just have to match up where I had the other one, which is right here. So you can see that if you use a stencil that is super fine detailed, it might be hard to line it back up. Thank you, Sandy. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like this would be a little easier. So once you do have it lined up, you just scoot your stencil down and to the right, just a hair. Thank you, Joyce Ann and Bonnie. I'm gonna do that same thing here. A little bit more. He used what he called patina. So there must be some sort of patina gold. I'm not sure. But I believe Lynn from L&J Goods, she used a gold wax paste, and that's what I did, and it turned out beautifully, both, you know, now and on the other one. So you just want to make sure you're going back over each one of those areas that you stenciled. And it looks good. Let's line up this one. If you do decide that you're going to wash your stencil in between each, you know, section, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you dry it really well before you lay it back on there. It's so beautiful in Ohio. I'm so glad, April. It's about 40-ish here in Sheboygan, here in Wisconsin where you're watching me. But yesterday it was in the 60s and it was fantastic. It smelled so good outside, you know, but sold out. Okay. I guess I didn't know what it was, Sweet Robin. So I was like, what the heck is that, you know? So using this gold wax paste, this is going down so nicely, super soft. Let's see, did I do, that's from the other one. So if you have to pick up and kind of see where your other stencil starts, so you don't do that one and just do the ones that you did on the sides. That's what I am doing here. Okay, I think that's turning out so pretty. All right, let's see. One last, there we go. So line it up exactly where you had it, ish, as best as you can. That is from that one. Sorry guys, sorry if I'm missing some comments there. Then just scooch down to the, down a little and to the right, just a little bit. Really, 100 of them. Yeah, I was like, patina, what has he got there? And why don't I have it? All right, I promise we're gonna be rounding the corner on this here. A little bit more to do, and hopefully we shall be done. I hope I did okay explaining. I can definitely upload this to my YouTube channel as well, because this will be a nice reference, I feel. Let's just look here. All right, I think we did good on that one. So now we have that. So pretty. And I thought it would be, you know, fun to, so I just kind of kept a border around there. We're supposed to have severe weather here on Friday to Saturday. Oh, I hope you are okay with whatever comes your way and you stay safe. But you could make your own frame on this out of resin pieces, you know, and cut down your sides a little bit. I kind of like that frayed look, so I would probably give this a little bit more of that. All right, so then now we come back in with our middle stencil there. Use cream white chalky through stencil, dry well. Let me go back. Put stencil on it, then move down to right. Okay. Take previous stencil and move to the right, use a cream white. So on the last part, he uses, I can't remember the white that he used, because we're going to do that same thing. We're going to find where we put our stencil, but instead of using gold, you use some kind of a lighter color. I wonder if I just flipped this around now. Did I? I might have. I did. All right, so we do the same thing here, except on this part, now we're gonna use this ivory chalk paint. Oh, Robin, what a good idea. How in the world does a girl adhere that? You know what I mean? To get it to stick. So high wind warnings with, oh my gosh, that's not good at all. Thank you, April. All right, so let me just make sure I read that right. Take previous stencil, use cream white chalky. All right, so here, instead of going down and to the right, he just went a bit to the right. So you line it up where you had it, and then just a skosh to the right. And come in with a lighter chalky paint. And we're gonna do that same thing. So you're covering all of it again. So a clean stencil brush, pick up your paint and then offload some. Apparently I'm not picking up too much here. Let's try that again. There we go. So it was at this point that I had the first one that I did that I showed you. Right, Sheila? I was like, I am never going to remember this. I have to write this down. It was one of those nights that I couldn't sleep, and I'm like, all right, now I've watched it. Now I'm going to go back and take the notes because I'm going to miss a step or something important. I should really rewrite them so that they're not on little Post-it notes, basically. So this is just an ivory chalky paint. Well, sweet April, I'm not 100% sure if I will add anything to it. You could add some beautiful resin frames would be pretty on here. Adhere those right down in certain spots. You know, if you wanted to make a different design with them and have several on them, I think you could. Chalk and Simply, hey darling, that's Barb, right? You should call in scared, right? Or you could frame this, or it makes me kind of think of those like a scroll would be, where it has just that piece of wood rolled onto the top of it, and then it's just hung with some jute twine or something. I think that would be pretty too. But I definitely want to do something to hang it. Call in scared. I agree. And so when I watched Vasillas do the part we're going to do next, his burlap was still damp. So he wasn't able to dry it completely. And he said that. He said, I can feel that it's still wet. But it still worked for him when he did it. This next part that I'm going to show you, it did not really work that great for me on the one that I tried. Yes, okay, good, Barb. Always ready for some craft knowledge. That's kind of how I feel. I'm always ready to try a little something different and be able to share it with you. Like I said, you can watch the replay on Ellen J. Good's page. I had to search, you know, through her lives a little bit. Also, Robin from Robin's Song is fantastic at these new products that came out from Pentart. I have the powder, the Bracante powder. Sweet Robin, are you still on, hon? Larson Grill, never heard of it. A customer of his recommended. Oh, that's where you're going to have lobster? And of course, Robin has all the new Pentart products also, or many of them, I should say. But she definitely has the Decoupage Queen items from the new release yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I know she had it sprinkled over on her page. Right? The judge probably wouldn't, huh? If you want to see what those items are, there is stencils, rice paper, molds. You will have a heck of a time choosing, just like I did. Okay. Because I'd like to try some of that powder. I'm just not sure if one of these type of projects, when it's still a little bit wet, would be the part to do that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. cover this back up. Now I see why I put a glove on, right? Which is fine. You should have saw me the first time. Oh, so pretty. I was covered in paint. So you get that same kind of 3D look to this. And now we have to dry this really good. Dry well. Okay. We're almost done. He said you could go in with your brush, then what's left on your brush, and you can kind of add in here or there if you want to just dry brush a little bit more of that light color. The Burlap powder, Sweet Robin, would I be able, do you think, to add it to something like this? And if so, what do I put down to make it stick? You know what I mean? I'm thinking maybe the pigment fix. Did you use that in a little spray bottle and then kind of sprinkle on the powder? Hi, sweet Victoria. So nice that you could join. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Yep, so then this is where he kind of says, okay, you can add your resin frames on here. You know, I have some from little to large that we could adhere these down with heavy body gel and really make something beautiful if you want to add more, right? You can decoupage on here, but then I would definitely have kept a certain area a little bit lighter, I would say. Thank you, Shauna. So here's where I had the other one, and I was like, wow, I like it just like that, you know? But I'll do what he did, and we'll see if we can't make it work. It didn't work on the first one I did. And by doing it, I feel like I took away some of the, what do I want to say? Some of the color and edges. Thanks, Debbie. It's still beautiful, but I would have left it like this had I known it wasn't gonna work. Never heard of that Burlap powder. Yeah, so it's a new Pent Art product. There are so many new products. I just got this one to try. And it basically can be used to kind of help age your pieces, make them look worn, make them look like plaster or stone, if I understand right. It's amazing, Robin. I think I saw you use it, or you might have used, I can't think of the name of the other one that you used. It's escaping me currently. Okay, we're coming up on the final step, guys. Get my brushes put away here, move a couple things out of the way. Just make sure this is nice and dry, and it is. I think I can get rid of these just to clean up some. All right. Now what he does is he rolls this up, and as he's rolling, he's like pushing down on the burlap. So just use your hands to push. His was very damp yet at this point, and according to what I wrote down, we should have it super dry. And just kind of keep pushing. And then he kind of took it and bended it in all the directions. And hopefully, if this works, it's going to get a little messy, which I'm okay with. Right? Just bend it, push on it. Open it back up. And then he says, you kind of use your fingers. Now, I don't know if it'll work with a glove on. But what you want to do is rub back. Okay. What I think is supposed to happen is the crackle, the magnesia, that's what it was. Okay. The crackle that we put on, like the here and there, is supposed to flake off with some of that paint. He did not recommend using a, piece of sandpaper or anything like that. He said, use your hands. And this is the part that didn't work so great for me, but I do see some of our initial color under there. And I think as it dries and you continue to do your rubbing, I see some coming off. So yeah, I do see it, okay. I'll show you what I'm talking about. His hands worked so good. I don't know if he had super calloused hands or not. Hey, sweet Sharon, you are live with me, darling. Because when he did this part, even on the wet portion, it looked so cool. But I'll show you kind of what I mean. Like right in here, I don't know if you're able to see some of that green is kind of poking through that we started with. I am live, darling. And I'm seeing it there. I'm seeing it up here a little bit. So then he rolled it in the opposite direction. And you're more or less trying to, this is the cool part. Did it work for you, Sheila? Did you do it? Hey, Tina. So that crackle with your chalk paint and how we dried everything is supposed to help that paint kind of slough off a little bit so that you're revealing all the colors that you used. Okay, so you just kind of get in there. All right. And then he came back in with his hands. Let me try a hand instead of a glove. See if that works. So I do see it. I do see some of that color coming through, and you kind of do as much or as little as you like. It's working really good up top there. So basically, I'm just flaking off some of that burgundy red color. It's coming off right here. Okay. It's kind of fun. Well, thank you, Regine. I appreciate that so much. Then let's roll it on the diagonal. You can't go wrong with this part. When I want a light sand, I crinkle up regular paper and use that. So I thought that too, and she asked if that would be, you haven't been able to yet. Okay, you have to let me know how it turns out. I know you're hurting and struggling a little bit, right? You can't do that quite yet, I'm sure. But she had asked him, can we use sandpaper? And he said no. Thank you, Tita. And he kind of showed what it looked like if you did. Maybe the heat from your hands helped. That's possible. I definitely have heat on my hands. And so you just keep rolling it and pushing on it. And then he said, use your hands and flake off. So I do see it. It's definitely working this time. As much or as little as you want, kind of revealing some of those colors underneath. So I am seeing that green. I wonder if I roll it this way. Let's just try. And he was very adamant about pushing down on it when you're rolling it. So I think we're trying to encourage that dried paint to crack off. And then bend it, do all the things, right? Maybe I gotta run over it with my car. And all these like happy threads, I like that. You could make placemats. Wouldn't that be pretty? Pull off some of these. He also said as it continues to dry that you would be able to get more off. Okay, so you could use your nail. That seems to be working better so that you can kind of pick up that dried paint. I wonder what I could use that would be a little gruffier. Hi, Pamela. We are trying, Sweet April, to, we're encouraging the crackle that we put on here to kind of slough it off a little bit and reveal some of the colors we used underneath. I know exactly, Tina. It's killing my neck, let me tell you. But I do see it working. I think it's a bit of a process. I can see the paint is crackling up. Now I just have to kind of get it off. My fingers are too soft. My hands are too soft. And when he used the sandpaper, it kind of left these marks on there. Thank you, Susan. That he didn't like, so that's why I chose not to do the sandpaper route. But it's almost like I need something with, you know, a little grit just to be able to remove a little bit more of that paint. But here for an example, you can see the green like right there kind of coming through. There we go. So I think we just have to keep kind of working on it, you know? But ooh, I'm getting full of it. I love it. Any little pieces here, I just like that frayed edge. And irregardless, in my opinion, if a lot sloughs off or not, I think it is just so stinking pretty. You could do a long one and make a runner, which would be gorgeous for your table or on top of your fireplace, you know, little placemats. You could hang this as a super cool piece of art. So I think I'll just keep kind of working on it. Here or there. What do you guys think? Burlap definitely has a stink to it, in my opinion. I think this is how it went. You wouldn't use that crackle again? Fine sandpaper. Yeah, he said not to use sandpaper, so I didn't want to. I saw what it looked like when he did his. And he did use the crackle, the one component crackle. That's what kind of encourages it to crack off. So I think I want to do, I mean, I can see it cracked right there. It's just very hard to, maybe it needs to be even more dry perhaps. I like that frayed edge also, yes. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Coral. So if anything, I hope that you try something like this. I think it's so fun and a great way to just try something a little bit different. Like I said, this was not in my comfort zone whatsoever, but I think I like these colors a lot better than this. This is fun as well. Thank you, Sheila. Had to chase Meow Meow. A bird has oh my gosh, I'm glad you caught him. So this, I wish I would have used a few different colors. It's just not standing out quite as nicely, but still super cool. Thank you, Robbie Hun. Thank you, Debbie. I very much like this red a lot better with that gold and the blue, the creamy, like ivory chalk paint we use there. So I will work at it a little bit more. I'm wondering if, you know, something like this, like my little sharp Cricut tool, where I can just kind of get at some of that paint to peel it away. I love it. I had to get me a larger piece of burlap. I just have a skinny piece. Yeah, maybe I should try it, you know, on a small piece and see what happens. But you could make a wall full of art for a whole lot less than what you buy it for in the store, you know? Yeah, because where I see this, I think this is working. Just being very careful. And it's helping me get that dried paint off. I'm going to dry it a little bit more too, and encourage it to crack by rolling it up back and forth again. This is definitely working. Thank you. Me too, Carrie. So I just kind of have it on the flat side, kind of working it back and forth. Thank you, Regina. I appreciate that so much. So we used burgundy red chalky paint. Hi, sweet Lori. Thank you, Cheryl. We used the poison green. That's what we put down first. Thank you, Kath. But you said his wasn't dry. Maybe sandpaper would be different. That's very true. That's very, very true, Debbie, darling. Poison green we put down first. We use the burgundy red. We use the denim chalky. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, sweet Kath. And then we used a little bit of the ivory chalky. These are all Pentart paints. We use the one component crackle medium. We use gold wax paste. And so parts of me wonder if my crackle medium is old. Thank you, my Debbie. I do believe that is a thing. Like my paints definitely get old. Sometimes I can save them with a little bit of water. As of late, I've had to throw a couple away that were just nasty. This one I have had for a bit. That's why I wanted to stir it up a little. I have a fresh new one here. So I kind of want to try it on a small piece and just see if it works better. If it does, I'll let you guys know. And come up with something, if anything, if I want to put molds on here or not, or just kind of leave this as is and hang it. I think it'd be kind of fun. And then our little sea sponge we used. And just get yourself a little Mr. Continuous Mr. bottle. Works fantastic. Robin has them in her shop at Robin's Song if you're interested. And all of those paints and products we used today you can get at my link for TH Decor. So, with that being said, I would love it if you all could stop in this evening at Crafting with the Sassy Chicks 101. That is my sweet friend Debbie. She does something called 2 for Tuesday. So she will have another crafter on with her. And they spin a wheel on Debbie's phone and they pick, I believe it's 5 items that have to be used in their craft and their project. And thank you, Lori, darling. So she is on at, she's Eastern, I'm Central. She is on at 8 o'clock Central, I believe, 9 Eastern. I think that's right. I think that's right. But I would love for you to stop over. My sweet Debbie is trying to get to her 10K, and she isn't that far away. If you're in for some fun and some laughs, it's a good time. I've been on with Debbie before. We would love to have you. Okay? Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, sweet Robin, for giving me, you know, the confidence to try some different things. And I am so inspired by watching her. You as well, sweet Denise. I should be back on Thursday. And I'll send out a telegram for you when that time will be. And I hope to see you guys all then. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you all so very much. I see somebody sent me stars. I'm so sorry if I missed that. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Take good care. Bye.